All right. So I am here with Ms. Fatima Maxwell, the daughter of Norris James Maxwell, who was a master sergeant in the Air Force when he retired. This project is for the Unsung Heroes Living History Project. It's created to honor African American veterans and their families who served in the United States military and later made Lompoc and Santa Maria area their home, raising families and strengthening our community. We believe military service is not carried by the veteran alone, but also by their spouse and family. So today we want to thank you for that shared sacrifice by inviting you to tell your story. By recording and preserving these memories, we ensure that future generations know that you were here and that your family served and that your contributions mattered. The project is sponsored by the Santa Maria Lompoc branch of the NAACP, C4 Lompoc, Collective Cultures Creating Change, the Fund for Santa Barbara, the Shumash Indians, the our Santa Barbara County Supervisor Joan Hartman, and many other local organizations. So before we begin, I'd like to ask if you would be willing to sign the waiver granting the Unsung Heroes Living History Project, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, permission to use this interview as outlined in the release of deed or gift at the conclusion of the interview.
Yes.
All right. So moving forward, here we go. Let's begin with life before the military service. How did your dad and your mother meet, and what was life like before the military became part of your journey? I think I'm reading the wrong one. I need to get to the right script. Here we go. Sorry about that. I might have to edit that part out. Okay. What do you remember hearing about who your dad was before he joined the service?
My dad is the oldest of five. So he was the proverbial big brother taking care of the family. And that's pretty much it. Like he was the big brother. And so he has two sisters, and two brothers as well. And his other brother, Samuel, also served in the Air Force as well. So he was an example for that.
Okay. Do you remember how the family reacted when he decided to join the military? Did you hear stories about it?
They were super proud of him for graduating high school. He went into the military right out of high school. And so he was missed because he was the big brother holding it together, but he kept in contact with his family and still supported his family while he was abroad.
Okay. And where was he born? Where did he grow up?
Asheville, South Carolina.
Asheville, South Carolina. Oh. From what you were told, do you think your dad's choice, what do you think about your dad's choice to join the military? Why do
I,
you think he joined?
I think he joined for job security, and as a stable means to provide for his family, but also to lend his talents and his efforts to serving the country that he lived in.
Okay. Did your dad ever share stories about boot camp or training?
Yes. The Lackland Air Force Base Hot Summers basic training, and it's pretty much is kind of the same as it is currently. Um, However, he did enjoy tech school and made some lifelong friends in tech school as well as his first duty assignment.
Do you think he felt prepared for military life when he first joined?
I don't know. I don't know much about teenage dad, um, but I think he absorbed it pretty well. He adapted, and it became the military way became a way of life for him from that point forward.
Okay, let's talk about life while he was serving. What kind of work did he do in the military as far as you know?
He was a missile mechanic. So he worked on all different kinds of missiles. I know Mace was one of the ones that he worked on in when he was stationed in Germany, and that's pretty much it. There, I know there were a couple different models, but that was his MOS was missile mechanic.
So do you remember him talking about places where he was stationed or where he traveled to?
Yes, Bitburg, Germany was probably one of his favorite places that he traveled, and also Johnston Island or Johnston Atoll, as it is referred to now. He spoke highly about both of those places, and being able to take lunch when he was on Johnston Island, and they would go swim on their lunch break and then go back to work because it's a very small island. And he has friends that still check in on me that he was stationed with in Germany. They were part of the attacked missileers ancillary group for that, so he enjoyed Germany quite a bit.
So he talked about friends and people that he served with who mattered to him a lot and stayed in touch with them.
Yes, the group attacked missileers is a kind of a conglomeration of um, airmen that served in Germany and Bitburg and Steinborn. And it's kind of like a social club that they put together to keep everybody in contact with each other. And I was able to accompany him on one of the reunions. They have like a biannual reunion and meet some of the people that he served with over there. And they spoke very highly of him. And that was very enjoyable.
How did your parents stay connected when he was away from the family?
A lot of letters, quite a bit of letters, and recorded cassettes with messages recorded back and forth. So he would send one, and then my mom would listen to it, and she would, on the opposite side, she'd send her reply back and forth. That way they could hear each other's voices, which I think was early form of like a voice message, which is great. I love it.
Are there any items that you still have that remind you of his service? Some of those letters maybe or
I do
recordings?
have I do have a few letters from my mom to my dad, and I have uniforms. Yeah, I have a few uniforms, and yeah, I think that's about it. Patches, a few things from that time.
Did your dad ever talk about difficult or unfair experiences that he faced while he served?
I did ask him about that while I was doing a school project, and he didn't really speak too much in specifically. He said there were issues, but for the most part, it was based on your rank. Your how you were treated was based on your rank. He didn't have any major racial issues or disparities, and that stood out while in the military. More so before he got there growing up.
Did he ever describe the military as a place of teamwork or belonging?
Yes, he enjoyed working with his fellow airmen. They had a camaraderie. They did all things together, working together, socializing together, the playing cards and the shooting pool, all of that they did together helped build their team and their work ethic once they got back to their assignment.
Were there leaders or role models that he admired during his service that he shared with you?
Not specifically. He spoke mostly about the people that worked side by side with him.
And what do you remember about his transition back to civilian life?
Not other than the uniform not being that uniform being worn every day. He still worked on base after he retired, so more or less he just switched uniforms. Retirement retirement didn't really happen until much later, so he would still put on a different uniform and he was on base still, same schedule, same time.
Do you think military service changed him as a person?
I would say it gave him a baseline of structure, and just a way to do things that was systematic, that was a proven way of doing things. Um, and it still, it infiltrated his daily life, how, how he dressed, how laundry was done, how things were in order, and there was order for everything, a place for everything, and everything in its place. So definitely it was evident that it gave him, a good structure on how to base everything else by.
And so, how many years did he do in the Air Force? Do you know?
If I'm not mistaken, 26, 26 years, 8 months, and there's a couple days in there too.
What do you think your father was most proud of from his military service?
I think it was mostly serving his country and being able to be a part of um, a bigger force to keep that same country safe, although it didn't always agree with him. And, being African American in America is not always easy and in America in general. So he did it in spite of a country that didn't necessarily want him to be here. Um, but he had an amazing work ethic, and that just allowed him to shine and be successful.
Did they pass any of the lessons down and advise you based on their time in the military?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, there's a place for everything and everything in its place. There's a routine, you establish routines, you have systems that work. And when they work, you don't change them. They stay they stay the same. But yeah, just how to time management and preparation and um, little things that you don't realize are military that when you think further about it, you're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Always being prepared, always a pen in the pocket, always a flashlight. It's that was dad.
And when future generations of your family hear about your father's service, what do you hope they understand and remember the most?
He made a choice to serve a country that would have preferred that he wasn't involved, and to that level. And he took pride in being African American and serving a country, and being a part of the space program. And that was a huge pride of his to be able to say, I built that. I helped build that. I was there when this happened. Um, and to be a part of a bigger picture.
Well, Miss Fanita Maxwell, thank you so much for sharing your memories. Your perspective helps keep your father's story alive, not just as a veteran, but as a whole person and family member. And I want to thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.